Hey there, it's Dan from the SNDPODCAst. Unfortunately, Steve was under the weather tonight, so we couldn't do a podcast. But I wanted to do a little first ever video blog for myself um, about tonight's Islander loss and what to expect for this weekend. First off, the Islanders lost 4-0 tonight to the Penguins in Game 5. It was a tough loss, another tough lesson the Islanders have to learn quickly and bounce back for Game 6 on Saturday night. They played great at the first period. The second period was a complete disaster when the game got completely out of hand. Um, 3 goals, 2 of them weren't Nabakov's fault. They were just tough goals and shitty defense. The only goal that I could say that was Nabakov's fault was the second goal that bounced off his glove that he should have saved, and that's pretty much the turning point of the game. Valkoon played pretty well. Nothing spectacular, but that's what happens when you have a great team built around you. You're able to just have a decent game and not let up anything. The Islanders had a bunch of chances in the first period and a couple chances before the game got out of hand. Once the game got 3-0, once Crosby scored the goal, you knew the game was over, unfortunately. These Islanders are a very young, scrappy team, like we've been saying all year long. They're just not ready to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins on the road. That being said, at home it's a different scenario because they have the crowd behind them and the barn rocking. It's nothing beats the National Coliseum when it is loud like that. Since it's still intimate and one of the smaller arenas in the league, it's the whole crowd is on you literally. It's a little bit different, like in places like the Garden and other places, which is a little bit bigger. With the Coliseum, everybody is on you and you can hear the noise. And it was great to see the game 3 and 4 and how the Coliseum was rocking like it used to be. They still got a long way to go, unfortunately. Hopefully, game 6 they can play great and pull out a win and force a game 7 and make me look wrong again. That seems to be the trend with this year's Islander team, and I'm okay with that because I am bad luck. Let's face it. Every time anything with the Islanders related, unfortunately, something stupid happens in my fandom with the Islanders. So I'm gonna just keep on rolling with the pessimistic, and it seems to be working. So unfortunately, they had another rough night, and let's keep it rolling. Hopefully, we bounce back in Game 6 and don't lose the series on our home ice, and have the Islander fans go home at least happy one more time. It's going to be a different, crazy animal playing Game 7 in Pittsburgh. I hope the Islanders are ready for that if they do end up winning on Saturday night. The debate the next couple of days is should Nabokov play. Of course, Nabokov should play. Granted, he had a rough couple of games. He's been giving up way too many goals, but it's the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's not a minor league team. It's not the Bridgeport Sound Tigers he's letting these goals up against. Um, should he stop most of them? Absolutely. But he's been our goalie for the whole entire season. DiPietro and Poulin combined played 5 games this whole entire shortened season. Um, you got to stick with the goalie, and if the ship's sinking, you got to stick with it. Unfortunately, right now it's just pretty much house money, and everybody in the Islander organization knows it. So pretty much with that, the Islanders just got to play tough and find a way to get that old barn reason for the old barn to be going loud and stay loud for the whole entire game. Next team is the New York Rangers. They played great the last 2 games at home. Like I mentioned, this series is going to be it's going to be home field advantage kind of game. Home ice because it's hockey, obviously. The Rangers finally got some goals past Holtby and just forechecking and just playing solid defense in front of Henrik. That's the key to the series. Henrik's still giving up a couple of crappy goals, but it's not his fault when he's making 40 or 50 saves on a given night. Granted, he hasn't had that yet, but some nights when he does have to make 40 or 50 saves. Obviously, a couple crappy goals are going to come in. That's just nature, and he's a human being. Granted, he's still one of the best goalies in the league. He needs that help. And the Rangers are giving it to him other than Game 1 so far. Game 5 is going to be a big momentum changer in the series, and the Rangers need to find a way to steal it in DC. Ovechkin's had an okay series. He's been quiet, so you're kind of expecting him to have a big game, either Game 5 or 6, and make it somewhat interesting. I'm sorry. With the Rangers, they just got to keep finding a way, keep on forechecking and getting bodies in front of the net and getting goals with it, whether it's other than Nash and Stefan, which has been the key so far this series. The first 2 games at home, Game 3 and 4. Broussard has had a great series so far with finding guys in open slots and scoring goals. He's had a bunch of assists, and it's been great to see him play. Ryan Callahan's been having an amazing series like we expected. Always forechecking and getting dirty and doing the necessary things a captain should be doing. I expect the Rangers to hopefully pull it out Game 5, and I could see them pulling it out and at the Garden Ice and make things interesting. But knowing the Rangers, they're either going to lose Game 5 or 6 and force a Game 7 and make things more interesting. That's just how the Rangers do it. It's just a typical New York team. For some reason, they just can never seal the deal. So I'll probably be wrong in that. Next team. Next New York playoff team, which is weird for me to say. Not weird anymore because they're in the second round of the playoffs. Congrats to the New York Knicks. They finally slayed the Dragon in Boston, and they had us sweat a little bit. Real Knicks fans sweat a little bit, but they got the job done last Friday against the Celtics in Game 6. It was a great learning lesson for the Knicks. The first time they advanced since 2001 when they beat the Toronto Raptors that season. The Knicks have been playing pretty well. Game 1 against the Pacers was a rude awakening that the Knicks have to show up and play tough, and they got to be ready for a battle for all 48 minutes. The Knicks just didn't show up. They must have all been partying and exhausted from the Celtics series, which was expected. Carmelo had an awful shooting night. So it's J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith, where are you? Maybe you settle down on partying and drinking and getting some bitches and score some more baskets. Unfortunately, that you get paid for doing that. But I feel J.R. Smith's going to get hot eventually. Hopefully it starts on Saturday night for Game 3. Carmelo finally getting heated up, and that's great to see. He had a great Game 2. The Knicks just played overall better game, and they adjusted to what the Pacers have. I still say the Knicks are going to win in 6. The Pacers are going to find a way to win a game, whether it's Game 3 or 4, on their home court. So, and also big news is Game 3 is Mark Stoudemire is going to be back from his knee injury. They said he's going to play 10 to 15 minutes, which is perfect for him when he gets acclimated again to the offense and to the Knicks team in general. He's a good weapon to have coming off the bench, score 10 to 15 points, along with J.R. Smith's points when he does get hot. Not for Melo, get the secondary scoring, not just worrying about Melo getting 45 points, 30 points, and whatever points. Sorry, okay. Anyway, the Knicks just got to keep on rolling, keep on playing tough defense, and they just got to handle their business. They're a better team. They have the All-Stars, and the Pacers are a scrappy team, but we're overall better. And they just got to keep on playing the way they did Game 2 and forget about Game 1. Game 1 was more of a hangover game, I believe. and the Knicks are going to be able to take care of business. But unfortunately, I say Knicks in 6 still. But hopefully they prove me wrong. I've been proven wrong before, so the Knicks got to show up, play great on Saturday night. So far, this is Dan again from the SND podcast. Steve wasn't here. Like to give a shout out next week. We're definitely going to be back um, doing our thing. Please check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. Also our YouTube page right now where this is going to be uploaded. And I hope to be doing this more. Thanks for listening and see you guys soon. Have a great night.